Alright, we're back. We're going to briefly talk about trigger stops. There's a couple different ways to do it. This user does not want trigger stops on this controller, mostly so that they can keep range of motion for games that like a full range of motion. There's really a couple ways that you can handle trigger stops. Some are better than others. I'll give you my opinions on it. The easiest way is to take something and glue it right here. I like to use, if I'm doing something like that, I like to use just a strip of leather. This is like leather that I used to build gun holsters out of when I used to make my own gun holsters. I don't really have any more of this to show at the moment. I've kind of got it all used up, but I do like to use that. I just cut it into small tiny squares about that big from there up, and just super glue it or hot glue it in there. It's nice and soft, and it limits the trigger motion to about there. The other thing that I like that you can do is you can actually get things called set screws, which if you've never seen them, this is what they look like. They're just screws with like a cap here. I like these better than the ones with the heads on them for a reason I'll show you in a moment. You can find the point at which on here you could drill through here and block the trigger from going back the whole way. Not a huge fan of that. If you do decide to do that though, I would cover the edge of this in either like a liquid electrical tape, Plastidip, rubber cement, hot glue, something so that you don't have a loud plastic on metal click. The other thing you can do, and this, if you have an older SCUF controller, you're familiar with this, you just have like a screw with a big head that stops it from moving further in. I like to use these ones if I'm going to do that. I figure out where the activation point is, mark my line, and tap and drill that. And if you use a tap, it looks like this. It's something that cuts threads into something. And whenever you screw it in, if you're playing a racing game, if you get it in the right spot, you can just twist it further in, and then you can have full range of motion, twist it back out. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, go get my personal prototyping controller, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, we're back. This is one of my prototyping controllers, and I had mentioned that I had these trigger stops in here, so this is the correct bit for this. I can just twist this in, and now it's flush, and now my trigger has full range of motion. But when I go back to playing, you know, whatever I'm playing, I can twist this out, back it off, and you know, everything is good again. So that's one really nice benefit to being able to do that. There are other things that you can do. I just use this as an example. You can get things called like perler beads, and put them on here and fine-tune them so that they fit closely around this, and then you can take like a file and you can get this thing to where it's like pinpoint aim accurate, where you only have to move it a tiny bit. The other thing that this controller has, which I'm not going to cover in this series, is adjustable depth triggers. It's really, you just come down like 5mm and make sure they're coming in at a slight angle. You can do this, and if you watch the side of that trigger, you'll see it start to depress. So if you watch how close that trigger stop is getting, you now have like a ridiculously short throw. That's really only majorly useful, for one, on the left hand side for aiming down sights on games, and two, on like semi-auto like pistols and MK14s and things like that. So that's something that I'm toying with, but this is just a controller I use for prototyping. It's got some weird stuff on it, Battle Beaver sticks, squid grip that I've tried to hack up and do, you know, interesting things with. 4-button layouts on the back, where I have thinner, smaller buttons, one there and one there, so that when you're holding it, you can just rock your finger like either way and hit different buttons. It's more of a gimmick than anything. I don't really think anybody makes use of all 4 buttons if they get a 4 button one. But those are some different ways that you can handle trigger stops. So you can drill through this, put a set screw in. You can drill through here at an angle and block this trigger from going the whole back. I think that's the way that Battle Beaver does it. You can put a screw through here. You can block this. Scuff has something that pushes down on the trigger itself that lowers it, and then it always stops in the same point. You know, it's really all on how you want to do trigger stops if you're going to do it. But like I said, this user does not want them. So I'm just going to snap these panels back on. And, you know, this represents probably the market share of the type of work I do. It's mostly just the 2 buttons in the back. Now, the reason why I show everybody how to do this is I think everybody is capable of doing it. And it saves you quite a bit of money in the long run if you can do one for a friend. You know, maybe he gives you 10 bucks as a way to say thank you, or 20 bucks, or 30 bucks, 40 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever. It still comes out to about what a lot of the other guys out there charge, and you learn something in the process, and you get some tools. So, you know, that's the basics of controller modding. You can get into some crazy stuff like I had said with the prototyping like I've been doing, or you can actually get into some stuff that could help some people. So something I've done before is for people with disabilities, instead of a switch here, you know, this is a switch. This is from Rock Band. What if I had a stereo jack here, or here, you know, or here, somewhere where I could put this, connect it, and let's say I lost the use of, you know, some of my hand. Well, that could make me reload, or sprint, or anything like that. Or shoot, for that matter. Or if you're doing a racing game, isn't this going to be so much cooler than holding down the right trigger? This, right there, is awesome. You could use that to shoot. You could do so many different things with modding. You can really make it your own, or make it fit for somebody else. I've taken these and wired them up to the inside of a 360 controller because that fits somebody's hands better. It's not exactly fun, and you've got all this mess of wires hanging between them, but it's really down to what people want. So again, you know, just a big shout out to Reddit. You guys are awesome on the Xbox One subreddit. And another big shout out to Reddit Black, #1 Diamond Division Advanced Warfare Clan. Thanks. Feel free to send questions my way. Signing out.